good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first live stream of the week. So I hope this one finds you all well and dandy. And we've got a lot to talk about tonight. But before we get to that, there's always a little preamble. So we're going to chat. This is what I need you folks to do. If you're watching this on Facebook, share and like it, please. If you're on YouTube, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to make sure you get the alerts. If you do those two things, that's important. If you want to find my other social media links, because I do stuff on different channels, you'll find them all below in the descriptions. So check that out. And if you like what we're hearing, give us a big thumbs up. And if you don't, then just don't, right? And then finally, if you feel generous and so inclined, you can always go over to altnewsmedia.net/donate and drop a pound or two into the hat if you want. And last but not least, of course, if you want to get yourself noticed, do make sure you engage. There's super chats for you. So if you hit those, then I get to see things a bit easier. So I'm about to bring on my fellow guest, and I'm watching her in the background. So without further ado, let me bring on my normal, very special guest on Monday night. It's Rebecca Butler. And friend.
And Skipper. I thought I'd just introduce Skipper to the stream tonight, just so you know what's going on in the background. This is the noise that you will hear, no doubt. But I'm going to put him down and hope that he is welcome to the stream by everybody. He's certainly appeared on Facebook and Twitter this week. So this is Skipper, everybody. And he's a little monkey, frankly, and he bites me all the time. So there we go. That's Skipper.
I have to say, he looks super cute, actually. And very welcome, Skipper, to the stream, by the way. It's good to have canine representation here because we're a very diverse platform, and of course we welcome creatures of all kinds. But anyway, that's very good. So Rebecca, so as always, folks, I see you joining there. Hello to all of you folks, by the way. You know, Rebecca and I do talk about what we're going to talk about on a Monday evening, and you know, sometimes there are things that really I don't want to talk about, and there's sometimes Rebecca doesn't want to talk about them either. But there's one story, and it's absolutely dominating the news agenda, and I think both of us would rather not really engage on it, but we have to because it's just so big. And of course, I'm talking about John and Yoko, or if you prefer, Harry and Meghan. And I mean, the obviously the interview that's taken place on US TV, and which on Oprah, and I believe Rebecca, I think it's on ITV tonight. I think I won't be watching. Will you?
Yeah, actually, I will watch it because I've got to find some fodder for tomorrow morning's social media. So yes, I will definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as I say, I mean, I've ignored this pair, broadly speaking, for the last couple of years. I sometimes think, you know, I'm not really interested in other people's, dramas. I've got enough other things to talk about. But in this case, I mean, even I've been surprised, Rebecca. The media coverage today has been off the scale.
Yeah, it has. And, you know, like you, I actually don't care. I really don't care. The monarchy, I quite like the monarchy. I wouldn't have it any other way. But do I care what they think or do? No, because they don't care what I think or do. Do they affect my daily life? No. But when it's in your face all the time, I just get irritated by it. I think they should be seen and not heard. And, what do they really do? You know, they sponsor charities, which puts up the chief executive's salary quite significantly. You know what? Cutting ribbons and opening things. To me, this concept of what duty is a little bit misaligned. I mean, you know, the Queen did her bit in the war, but what do the royals really do?
Hey, Rebecca, are you a you're a Republican at heart. Is this a guilty secret we have to get out of you?
No, I don't think I am, because because the sort of the sentimental side of me enjoys the pomp and the ceremony.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn. I really don't give a damn. And they fund themselves? Yeah, pretty much they do. I mean, they're very wealthy in their own right, and wealth makes wealth. So I don't, it's not like Henry VIII is whipping all our taxes away. So I think they fund themselves. That's fine. I've actually met the Duke of Edinburgh 3 times now, and I thought he was just complete hoot.
He's brilliant.
Yeah. I've sailed with Princess Anne. Great normal people, and never met Brenda, but why would I? Don't really care about William and Kate, although they kind of do the right things. They shut up and just get on with it. But these two, Harry and Meghan, they're just like a little tornado, all of their own making, and they're just surrounded by drama. They can't resist the drama.
Well, let's start to talk about this then, because you've keyed it up very nicely there, Rebecca. I wanted to bring up, first of all, to put all this in context, folks, this pair, we need to talk about them, unfortunately. So if we could just bring up this first slide, Rebecca. And you may remember this, that it's not so long ago since Meghan and Harry told us they were stepping away from it all. They just were seeking, I think, obscurity in Canada, which is a pretty good place to go to be obscure, actually. They were seeking their to get away from it all, to stepping away from royal life. So obviously, what you do, if you're seeking to get that degree of privacy into your life, what the natural thing to do is, Rebecca, you go on Oprah. Because it makes sense, doesn't it? It's logical. You want privacy, so you expose your life and your family and all those family members to the scrutiny of a massive global TV program, which is what's happened today.
Yeah, I mean, they are victims of never having been able to express themselves, which is complete tripe. They've always expressed themselves. They've always been quite contrary, which is fine. We don't mind contrary people. But yeah, it just doesn't sit that they're exposing themselves to the American paparazzi. And let's not forget, this interview was all about an American audience. This is not a British audience. And, maybe you were going to come on to this, but what this has done for relations between us and America, I think, is quite damaging, because I've seen a lot of the chat around it on the major networks, and they're saying this just shows how racist the British are. No, we're not. It's just, we gave them a £36 million wedding. We celebrated Meghan. She had no more adverse publicity than Kate Middleton did. And she had as much, positive publicity. And, I was quite shocked when she did that Tom Bradby interview in South Africa, with the hordes of poor people behind her saying, woe is me, nobody reached out to me because I was pregnant. Well, get over yourself, love. I had a full-time job when I was pregnant. So what? You're healthy. So just shut up and get on with it. Just stuff like that. It irritates me.
The thing is, Rebecca, the point you make about dividing between the UK and the US, it's an interesting one, because I think this kind of cloying, uber narcissistic type of interview, it goes down pretty well amongst some people, a certain strata in the US. I mean, it's kind of some of the stuff that those who watch Oprah, they lap it up. And I noticed the White House, in an interesting statement, they did comment on it. A comment was made by the Circle Back kid, what's her name, the press secretary, and I mean, she was sort of saying, something like, we kind of, very, very brave and courageous of the princess to speak out in the way that she did. I don't think there's anything brave at all. I think this is, as we said earlier today, this is uber narcissism. Like, it really, really is. And for me, Rebecca, one of the worst bits is that, you know, the two big charges against the British royal family today are, number one, that at least one person within it is racist. And you know, so that's the first thing. And secondly, the uncaring, because she claims to have had suicidal urges. So those are the two big claims. And I think it's outrageous that she should, you know, if you like, sort of accuse someone in the royal family. She didn't say it was male or female. She didn't give anything away like that. But she alleged something, which is a pretty damaging allegation. And she doesn't, since the person is unnamed, we don't know, we can't comment, but the doubt is now there, isn't it? I thought that was pretty appalling. Name them, Meghan, if you think that. Tell us who they are, and, you know, then we can talk to them and they can decide.
Well, I thought actually Harry's comments were even more egregious than that, because he said somebody, but I'm not prepared to say who, referred to the colour of our children. So this was pre-Archie, but, you know, in anticipation of having children, somebody, but I don't want to refer any of the details of it. Somebody said it. Well, you know, it's the same point. All of this unsubstantiated, I'm not prepared to say, but I'm going to sit on a sofa and pretend to say.
Yeah.
It's just like, what really struck me though, David, is, you know, talking in wokey language now, which is, I think, you fight fire with fire. She has gaslighted her victims of bullying.
Yes.
Totally gaslighted them. You know, anybody who talks out about Meghan gets gaslighted, and Harry, and he's as bad. They are so well suited to each other. But
they are. Yeah.
They've done gaslighting, and nobody's called them out on it. I think that's shocking. Is to say, well, I'm a victim of bullying, so you can't accuse me of bullying. Well, what is your bullying, Meghan? Who bullied you? What does bullying mean, and who bullied you? Did somebody stand there and shout at you and demean you in the way you did to your staff? Come on.
Yeah, that's right, because, I mean, I think, Rebecca, I think 5 members of her staff, or former members of staff, did come out and say she'd behaved pretty intolerably towards them. Now, we don't know if that's, you know, right or wrong, and maybe they're right and maybe it isn't. But as you say, she's quite happy then to accuse other people of bullying. And the other thing, actually, here's something I wanted to say to the stream and to get it out there. This whole thing about the racism and about the kid, Archie's, what would the skin color be of the child? You know, Meghan's not black. Just putting it out there, she is not black. I'm sick of the way some of these people, actually, they culturally misappropriate. Do you not agree? I mean, color means nothing to me. As you and I have chatted about this so often, Rebecca. Neither of us are in the least concerned about color, but I get a bit annoyed about this whole thing. Oh, well, Meghan, she's a person of color. Well, you know, well, I mean, she didn't look that colourful to me. But anyway, what do you think?
If she's black and proud of being black, somebody tell her she straightens her hair and refers to herself on job applications as Caucasian. So she's half Caucasian and half black. And actually, I don't even know if she's half black or quarter black. I'm not really sure. But, you know, but fine, perfectly fine by me if you want to say, well, I identify as half of my genes. That's okay by me. But then be that person, be the black person, be proud of being the black person. And I've had this discussion with you before. Black hair is a really, really big issue with black women. And it's all about not straightening your hair, but leaving those afro curls natural. It's a really big point. Actually, a lot of girls do get bullied. Black girls get bullied because of their hair. I've actually dealt with a couple of cases in the Free Speech Union over this. People making derogatory comments about the hair. The hair is a very sensitive issue here. believe it or not.
Yeah.
And so why isn't she black when it comes to her hair? I mean, I always think about, as you say, which bit is she culturally appropriating at the point
Yeah.
where it's convenient? Because I honestly think that people who are, you know, I don't know what you call them now. I don't know what the appropriate term is, but you know, mixed race, or in
Yeah.
India, they're still called half caste, or Anglo-Indian is a perfectly normal term to use to describe people who are half and half. You know, I've never heard an Anglo-Indian say, I'm Indian or I'm English. They've always been quite proud to say, I'm Anglo-Indian, I'm a half caste. So there's like a pride in your identity of being something special. But Meghan has rejected her father wholesale, we know that. And she's rejected half of her genetic heritage.
I
She
know.
was quite happy to dump him over the wedding, remember? Not made any effort to see him. He lives in LA. He's in LA.
Yeah, and the thing is, actually, I believe I was reading just before again we came on air, Rebecca. Apparently, her father is coming on to Good Morning Britain or whatever it is with Piers Morgan tomorrow morning. Now, I don't normally agree with Piers Morgan. I've got so many issues with him, but on this one, I have to say, I think he's pretty spot on. I don't know what you think. I mean, he's no fan of Meghan and Harry.
The only thing I would say that he was a little bit insensitive about was the mental health stuff, because we don't actually know, and you know,
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Can I also say something here, though? Is that there's a little part of me that looks at this story and thinks, you know, William groomed Kate Middleton for a place in the royal family over the course of 10 years, and Kate Middleton was ready to join the royal family. It's quite a dysfunctional, abnormal way of life. It's quite sort of artificial, I think, the relationships you have with people and the formality behind the relationships you have. But Kate Middleton was groomed for that. And I think the falling out between Harry and William was very much about William saying, hold fire, mate, you know, don't do it too quickly, because it's a big ask. And, you know, she wasn't an 18-year-old Kate Middleton. She was a 33, 34-year-old woman. She'd been married, no doubt had any number of relationships, had a career. Whether you thought the career was good or not is neither here nor there. I didn't know who she was, but I did watch Suits, and I thought, yeah, she's pretty good in that. You know, fine, pretty girl. Okay. Realized she'd done some stuff about UN women and all of that. All great. How difficult it must have been to be with a thicko like Harry all day. That must be as dull as ditch water. And then just have to go around and cut ribbons for a living. I just don't think she was prepared for royal life. And so to go off to the States is entirely understandable. All of that we all get. But then just shut up, please. Go away.
I would like to see them stripped of their royal titles. I'll be blunt on it, because, you know, all those things you've just said are 100% true. I think the other thing to add, Rebecca, is though that part of the price of being in the firm, in the family, is that you do shut up. The very point you've made several times, you just have to accept that that's kind of the way it works. And so because of that, if you're not prepared to do that, then you're not playing by the rules. And therefore, you know, a lot of, I think she's brought it all on herself. I mean, Jed makes the point here. He says she's a second-rate actress at best. I've got to say, Rebecca, I never watched Suits. I can't say I was one of the ones I tuned into, but I'm not sure, Jed, if she is of her acting abilities. I actually think she was acting on that day of her wedding at Westminster. I suspect there was a degree of acting about that, but I don't know. Look, the thing about this, Rebecca, is, you know, the path of true love and all that never runs smooth, and so I don't want to be mean and nasty, particularly to them. I do think they've damaged the royal family, certainly in the last 24 hours and the next number of days, I think, because can the Queen, Her Majesty, they cannot rebut this formally, can they? No,
they can't. And you know what? Harry is as much to blame. Now, they have weaponized in a really egregious way. They've weaponized his mother's death, and they have weaponized Archie, because they're now saying that he was denied a HRH title. Now, I thought at the time that Harry said we don't want him to have a title. I may be wrong on that, and there's somebody on the street may know, but I seem to recall them saying they didn't want him to have a title, a bit like Edward and Sophie and Princess Anne, because they wanted their to be able to step back. I think everybody always thought that Prince Andrew was a little bit pushy with his own daughters, and he's always pushed their agenda.
Yes, he did.
As HRHs. And I think you know, the precedent of Edward and Sophie and Princess Anne all saying no HRH, thank you very much. We don't want to ruin their lives. But now they're saying, well, we were denied the opportunity to ruin their lives with an HRH title, you know, for Archie as it was when he was born. So there's something, but, you know, Harry's just said this as though it's fact, and nobody can rebut it. But frankly, we all know Buckingham Palace will say nothing, and that is the best thing, is don't give
100%.
them
Yeah,
just shut up, it'll go away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's the one. I mean, at the end of the day, this will not end well for Harry and Meghan. It doesn't matter about the media, you know, the acres of media coverage you're getting. It won't end well. The other thing I thought was really quite pathetic from Harry was he said that his father, after a couple of 2 phone calls, I think, or his father wouldn't return 2 phone calls. Right now, Harry's 30. He's a 36-year-old man. And his dad doesn't return. I mean, what age is he? 15. I thought that was pathetic. I mean, in some ways, he's every bit as bad. I mean, they are well paired, aren't they? Because he's as bad as she is.
Oh yeah. I mean, if my kids don't call me, I just think, good, they're not after my money. It's just a good sign if they don't answer my phone calls. But but they're all dysfunctional. They live in a dysfunctional world. They live in a gilded cage. None of us would want to be a royal. It's such an awful life because there's so much wealth, it's meaningless. And actually, I've been to Buckingham Palace, and it's actually a bit of a tip. It's, you know, wallpaper hanging off the walls. It's not like Ceausescu's palace or anything like that. You know, they're all just custodians of money and vast amounts of it. But I wouldn't want their life. And so I thought that's what Meghan and Harry were moving away from. But it turns out, actually, they resent the fact that they can't have that life. But they want their cake and eat it and dictate the color of icing and what sort of cherries are going to be on top.
Yeah,
institutions that have been around for hundreds of years don't tend to operate like that. It's not about an individual. It's about the institution.
I saw a couple of memes on Twitter. I don't know if we've got one in the slides coming up, but Twitter's always quite good fun when you read this kind of stuff. And the memes have been mighty, Rebecca. The best one that I saw, it was one of two split screen. One side you've got John and Yoko. The other one you've got Harry and Meghan. On the John and Yoko one, you've got Yoko saying, I split up the Beatles, and on the Harry and Meghan one, it's Meghan saying, "Hold my beer." I thought that was great. I thought, you know, Twitter, Twitter got that one absolutely right. And the other thing I saw, Rebecca, and this is mean, but it did make me chuckle. If you think this is bad, just wait till we get to the divorce.
Well, you know, if there has been all this mental health issues, and I think actually Harry probably is quite vulnerable. I wasn't aware that she was, but I can understand they are. If you think about it, big marriage, problems, or problems from the word go, problems with staff, problems with settling in, moving of houses, all sorts of briefings here and there, move to Canada, break up from the firm, you know, didn't get the settlement they wanted from the Queen. And they didn't get the settlement that they wanted from the Queen, you know, move then to California, this interview, 2 pregnancies, a miscarriage. These are huge stresses for a marriage, you know, never mind.
Yeah. As I say, Rebecca, it's worth 1,000 words. I think the thing is, I hope this pleases our American viewers.
I think our Trump supporter friends will sympathize with us and will see this for what it is. I'm afraid that the lib wokey Democrats, yeah, they're going to get this and they're going to jump on us because they've had so much criticism for being so racist in America. That how nice, how gift do they need then to just turn the guns on us? And some of her friends who are actors, so obviously they're really well informed and well educated, have come out and in commentary about how racist the royal family's always been, and some very, very, very unpleasant comments from her friends. So totally appropriate. And you know what? Revenge is a dish best served freezing cold, and their day will come for sure.
I think we're going to wrap this one up now in a minute or two. But the people I feel probably sorriest for is I really feel sorry for the Queen and Prince Philip. I mean, there's Prince Philip, and he's obviously been seriously unwell. Yeah, and you know, coming 100 years old, so he's well on. He's quite an age, and Her Majesty 94. And for them, and at this time, to have to put up with this sort of crap, if you'll pardon my language, I just find that, and I think a lot of Brits think like that. Like, I have my criticisms of the royal family as well, Rebecca. I'm by no means a blue-eyed, white-eyed monarchist either. But I just also think the way this has been handled by Harry and Meghan, it's kind of venomous, is the word I think, and hurtful to Her Majesty and Prince Philip.
It's unnecessary. What is it going to achieve? There can be no good outcome from this. It's not going to be a positive.
No, I agree.
So why do it? Why?
Yeah, because you know, there can't really be a reconciliation. I don't think she wants a reconciliation at all. Yeah. And you know, I mean, the sight of a billionairess in the form of Oprah talking to 2 millionaires and bemoaning their life, to the ordinary people in the States, in the UK and elsewhere, it just is just a massive indulge fest. But anyway, there we are. I think we hopefully we won't be sent to the Tower after this, Rebecca, or we should.
I just like to say that the media does enjoy this sort of thing, and you know, very much stoking the flames. But I would really have preferred if the media took on the cause of, say, our soldiers in inadequate uniforms or inadequate armored vehicles during the Iraq War, where they were being blown up by IEDs because of inadequate equipment. I'd like the media to make more of a deal about PPE and more of a deal about, you know, 650 healthcare and social care workers have died. I'd like them to make more of an issue of that. I mean, for God's sake, whether you like it or not, there's a lockdown at the moment. The economy's tanking. That should be front news on every single paper, not frickin' Meghan and Harry. Who cares? Who cares? There's so many more important things.
I think, Rebecca, just looking at the comments in the stream, I think what you're saying is widely reflected in what other people say as well. You know, it's a combination of a couple of narcissists and then a media that just loves the loves all the attention that this kind of story brings. But by and large, I feel I may have to go and have a shower after this. I haven't even talked about them because I don't feel that great about it. So anyway, okay, I think we're all in agreement. I think, broadly speaking, the stream is pretty much in agreement. So we all agree that they are horrible narcissists. But
yeah, time to disagree. Move on.
Yeah, let's disagree about something. Right.